Yo!
What up, though?
I got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.
All right, then. It's time for you to bring it to the table.
Turn up your radio wherever you at. We about to bring it.
Street Beat.
Yeah.
With Tony B.
For the next hour, Tony B will give you a chance to tackle local, national, and international issues that affect your community.
Street Beat.
Street Beat with
Tony.
Welcome to this edition of Street Beat. It's me, Tony B, and special guest joining me very shortly will be Arsalan Ibrihim. Going right here at the Columbia City Theater, Friday and Saturday. Both shows are at 7:30, and so if you don't have tickets yet, get your tickets. The tickets are selling well. It will be an awesome play. I'm sure you're gonna love it. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what we've got going on here at Rainier Avenue Radio. Oh my gosh, this has been quite the community election connection. Now, for an off electoral season, which by that I mean there's no presidential election. It's not even a midterm election. These are the electoral seasons that are the hardest to get people motivated to come out and vote. So what we decided to do right here at Rainier Avenue Radio was 31 days of notifying you of what's going on, awareing you of issues that are important, listening to you and taking your commentary and your issues and putting those forefront in our community election connection, answering those questions. And we've been hosting debates. Yes, we've been hosting debates. We started on September 15th. This goes all the way through October 26th. We've hosted debates for the Council 9 position. We've hosted a debate for the mayoral election. We've hosted debates for the Council District 2 position. Last night, we hosted a debate for the Council Position 8, which is a citywide position, just like 9 is. District 2 is South Seattle, so that was a big one for us. And of course, the mayoral debate impacts the entire city. Now, the thing about these local elections that I think is more important than a federal election is they directly impact your community. They directly impact your neighborhood. We've also been hosting the Community Police Commission, who has presented to us 3 shows. We've done a show on the consent decree. If you are unfamiliar with the consent decree, that is the thing that changed, that essentially put oversight of the police department, the Seattle Police Department, in the hands of the federal government. That was changed by a judge's decision on September 3rd. That put the oversight of the Seattle Police Department back into the hands of the Seattle Police Department. So if you're wondering, well, how does that work? Yeah, that's kind of why we were letting you know what's been taking place with the consent decree, what it is. And it all started, well, it wasn't one particular incident, that started this. There was one that would essentially, you would say, broke the camel's back. And that was when the Native American gentleman who had a small carving knife was shot, killed by the police. From there, it was decided that the Seattle Police Department should have some oversight. And that's what the consent decree was. And the federal government began the process of overseeing the Seattle Police Department. Well, again, 3 things were born out of that, one of which was the Community Police Commission. The Community Police Commission is here for you. And what they do is they take your whatever it is that you have. If you have complaints, they take a listen. And then again, according to E.C. Amay, who is the executive director of the CPC, the Community Police Commission, to the highest echelon to try to get you satisfaction on what it is that you're curious about, what it is that you felt that you've been wronged about. And we had a discussion on the chronic nuisance law, which initially started out as something that was for nightclubs and to make sure and ensure that at 2 o'clock when closing happened, that there were some recourse for some of the actions that were taking place at this at the nightclubs. Well, that was expanded so that it now includes residential areas. And here's the deal. If you get 3 notices being a chronic nuisance, even in your neighborhood at your residence, that could result in a $37,500 fine. $37,500 fine. And then every day, another $500 is added on to that until this is reconciled or until it's resolved. And how is it resolved? And where do you go to find out, to find out if you can be relieved of this? Well, you go to the Seattle Police Department. We also talked about surveillance. Just recently, there was a vote to add more surveillance cameras. There were 57 that was part of a pilot project. If you didn't know, now you know that you were being surveilled. More have been added. That was passed by the city council on a 7-2 vote. And so there'll be more police cameras surveilling you. Is that a good thing? Is that something that you think will help resolve crime, slow crime down? Or do you think that this is an intrusion? Do you think that this is something that could potentially be used by the federal government to track folks? Well, this is all part of information that we're sharing in our community election connection. We've also talked with King County elections, and we'll be having that conversation again tomorrow, so you can check us out for that. We're also broadcasting high school football. We've got O'Day taking on Ballard this Thursday. Tomorrow, the O'Day Fighting Irish taking on the Ballard Beavers. More Metro League high school football. And as I promised, joining us right now, the writer of Minstrels play, Arsalan Ibrihim. Arsalan, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Good to see you. Excited to have you joining me. And the play,
Yes.
Minstrels play, you are the writer.
Yes.
Let's first find out some information about you. Where are you from? Give us a little background and history on yourself.
Okay. I'm originally from Oakland, California, born and raised, and I've been traveling quite a bit in my life, and found my way back to the ancestral home, Timbuktu, in Mali. And there, under the training of Tumani Jabate, I became initiated into the tradition of the Jeli, what people are more familiar with the term griot in more modern parlance, which comes from the French derivation of the word gewul, which is the Wolof word for the institution. But basically, these are the stewards and the keepers of the civilization itself, its knowledge, its history, its culture. And we're also the advisors to not only the rulers, but to common everyday folks. It's every town, every small village had its own Jeli, its own griot that kept them abreast of the knowledge of the history, as well as the what's going on throughout the empire. You have to understand, the Mende Empire, the Empire of the Mandingos, was massive. It was larger than Western Europe, and it encompassed over 1,000 different ethnic groups speaking hundreds of languages. And the way that empire was kept together was through this sort of communal figure who ambulated the society, went throughout the country, and gathered up the knowledge and the news, and then brought it back to their people while also spreading the knowledge of their people to everyone else. And so they also acted as representatives in political forums and events, and yeah.
All right. So what led to you writing? How did it start? Was it creative writing in school? Was it journalistic writing? What led to you becoming a writer?
My father wrote constantly. I inherited from him. Artists understand this. the concept of the muse is not so much of a, people think of the muse in terms of it's something that's inspiring you. The artist knows that the muse is something that's compelling you. It's a voice that's constantly in your head. You know, Miles Davis put it perfectly. He said, when he was asked, if you hadn't have blown up, and what would you have done? And he said, I still would have been playing music. And the guy said, the interviewer asked him, really? He said, yeah, it's playing in my head all the time. And the interviewer said, really? He said, yes, I hear it right now. You know, he saw music as a blessing, but also kind of a curse. It was just constantly with him. It was constantly in his head. So my father had the same sort of thing. As a musician, he's a bass player. He wrote a lot of poetry, wrote a lot of, you know, the cultural milieu in Oakland is very small. It's a big city in the sense that it projects itself big. It puts out a lot of talent, a lot of culture.
A lot of talent
That's come out of Oakland. But you could walk across Oakland in the course of like a couple of hours. Like, it's not size-wise a big sprawling city at all. You know, it's smaller than Seattle. But there's so much going on block by block. And so I grew up, my father was close friends with the bass player from Tower of Power. He would come over to our house and play when I was a kid, and they'd jam together. My father wrote constantly, so he'd be filling up notebooks. He'd get up in the middle of the night with a thought and start writing it, right? And so then he encouraged me to write, he's like, if you've got something in your head, don't just go, oh, I'll get to it later, because you'll forget it. He's like, find a way to record it, find a way to get it down, keep humming it, singing it, reciting it till it becomes a part of your memory, and just let it stew and develop. And that process of writing, I learned really from him, not really school. So by the time I got to school, I was already writing at a level that most of my
peers
were not. And so I excelled at writing in school because of my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Minstrels Play.
Yes.
First, let's give some information. I did mention earlier that the play will be here.
Yes.
Friday and Saturday. You can come check it out. Tickets are available now.
Yes.
You can pick up tickets now. Again, let's start with that. Where can you get tickets? How can you get tickets?
We've got tickets on Eventbrite, and I don't have the link on me right now. Well, I can pull it up. Do you want me to pull up the link to the Eventbrite? Or
okay,
no?
we'll get to it. But go to Eventbrite. Go to Minstrels Play.
Yeah, go to Eventbrite. Look for Minstrels Play on Eventbrite, and you'll see us. And the tickets will be there for both Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the play, Minstrels Play.
Yes.
I want you to talk about your inspiration for writing it, but let's set the scene for people.
Okay.
Minstrels Play. What's happening? What takes place? What's it about?
Okay, so most of the time, minstrels has become a bit of a pejorative because of its history in this country. Minstrels really were just basically bards. They were what I do, a jelly. They were traveling musicians and historians and storytellers. And those people, in my journey, part of my initiation, I learned that I was from a family who, when slavery started happening, they started taking large numbers of our people, the Mande people, because the Mande Empire was for a long time the bulwark against Europe. Europeans couldn't actually enter into the continent because of that empire. When it started to crumble and disintegrate and started going through an interregnal crisis, certain European powers seized the opportunity and started attacking. And so that caused these areas to become sort of discordant and fractured and divided, sort of a balkanization took place. And the Jelly were seeing something had never been seen before, where large numbers of people being taken suddenly at once, right? They'd come to a town or a village and it'd be emptied of all people, right?
Wow.
And so they go back to the—
I mean, we know that, but it's still hard
to understand,
to hear that, and then to again think about that happening to a civilization.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, please. Yeah, that's great. And they go back to the Bara, the great assembly, which is how we governed ourselves, and started raising the issue. But there was so much infighting and so much rivalry and conflict going on, they couldn't galvanize the people. They even found, in some rare instances, some of the princes who lived near the coast had developed relationships with these Europeans and were allowing them to take their rivals. And so they started trying to get the people galvanized against that, started singing. There's a song called Bani, which is about saying no to the rulers and overturning rulers. But there just was so much chaos and dissension, they could not really galvanize the people. And they're looking day by day, month by month, more and more people are being disappeared. So in the face of this, they consorted a tradition that stated, there was a traditional prophecy that talked about a time in which this land, blessed above all others, would be tested above all others with an unprecedented humiliation. So they figured this is that time. So it required for unprecedented measures. A number of them voluntarily, they made of themselves libraries of the civilization. They gathered up all the civilizational knowledge, and then they came over with that knowledge voluntarily to keep the people connected. So it's because of that we have the banjo as a fully formed instrument and tradition from the very beginning. Everything that banjo players are doing now are exactly what banjo players were doing when the instrument was first crafted, because it was already a tradition that existed and was just modified to the new circumstances. When you know this, you know there's no mystery to why the U.S., like every other colonial economy, was based off of sugar and tobacco. The sugar and tobacco economy got depressed. They're all suffering. They're dealing with this global depression. The U.S. suddenly shoots up out of this depression because it switches from sugar and tobacco to rice, cotton, and soybeans, and so on and so forth, because the Africans, that was the economy of our civilization, where they were taking us from. We had a crop cycle based off of rice, cotton, peanuts, and indigo. And what's blue jeans made out of? Cotton and indigo. What's the Industrial Revolution powered off of? Cotton and peanut oil. Oil for the machines. Cotton was the material that ran the Industrial Revolution. The U.S. went from never producing cotton to suddenly producing 98% of the world's cotton, because it just took that civilization wholesale. And we know the names of the people who actually were scholars, who taught their masters how to switch to this crop cycle of cotton, rice, peanuts, and indigo. So that tradition, those people who did that, that's in my family line. When I went back, that sort of thing was reawakened. And a genuine exploration of how our culture now is derived from taking that culture and making it work in these new circumstances. And so the Minstrels play is based off of that history. Initially, the thing that would happen is when the people were in the slave quarters, they would have these events led by griots who would entertain the people by making fun of what they were seeing in the big house, the high society parties. They knew these people were monsters, but then the high society parties come out, they put on their top hats and their best clothes, and they have their white gloves and their canes, and they dance and prance about. And so they were making fun of this. They were parodying the absurdity of this. Here are these people making themselves look high and mighty when they're monstrously grotesque, right? And so there's people within the society who are ostracized, who find themselves on the out, who are not, they have proximity to whiteness, but they're not white. These are the early Italians, early Jews, early Scots and Irish. These people start, because of their status, have access to both our culture and to that high society culture. They can't be fully in it, but they're touching it. And so they're witnessing what we're doing, taking those things and performing them for whites, getting accolades, and allows them to ascend into closer proximity, if not full-blown whiteness, right? And then that becomes a pattern. Black folks do something. There's some people who are kind of like on the outs, they're poor whites or what have you. They start mimicking us, they become famous, right? And this is a pattern we see all over. Entire industries are based off of this. You know, the whole K-pop industry is basically minstrelsy. a lot. And then you also have what we do. So then throughout that, you also have the Richard Pryor Show, and you have In Living Color, and you have the Chappelle Show, and all of these different things, which are based off of that same thing of us talking to ourselves about the monstrous absurdity of the society we live in. And then it becomes popular, and it runs the same exact pattern. They start looking for a white replacement, so on and so forth. So the goal of this show is to continue in that vein. I take a lot of inspiration from the Richard Pryor Show. And
now, when you say the Richard Pryor Show, for folks who may not know, this was groundbreaking. When Richard Pryor came to television, and how are we going to capture the humor of this individual and censor this individual because of the type of humor that he... Anyway, if you haven't seen the old Richard Pryor, I think they only made 4 of the shows.
Were 4 episodes, but that was specifically Richard Pryor's request. He didn't want to become like bound to a system where, because he already had dealt with Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to have that experience, right? So he went to them and said, no, I only am going to do 4 shows.
And we can talk about that forever, but I want to get back to Minstrels Play.
So based off of that inspiration, I and other things, Spike Lee's film Bamboozled really had a great impact on me. It had me really thinking about, at the start of my career, what was I going into? What was the goal? What's the objective? What are we doing here? And all of that was going on before I was even initiated into the Jelly tradition. And so then when I get initiated in the Jelly tradition, I start to see how all this stuff connects. What's the through lines of history, right? Like we have a tradition all across the United States. Every Black community has this, you got mama jokes. You might call it the dozens. In Oakland, we call it capping or snapping, right? I witnessed a traditional village or town political forum in Mali. And it started off with the different communities bringing forth their poets, their jellies, who then proceeded to recite freestyle rhythmic poetry, making fun of the mothers, the fathers, the grandfather of the opposing people. And everybody's laughing. In the ancient times, even the emperor, this was in our constitution, even the emperor was made fun of. Arab travelers looked at this and marveled. They said any other polity, people would be executed for speaking to the emperor this way. These people openly mock and laugh at the emperor because they don't understand how Black politics works. Everyone's got to be brought down to the same level before we can have a fruitful conversation. So the goal of the Minstrels Play is to bring back, to revivify these connections. It's already there in the culture, but to show how these through lines and connections go. So a lot of our stories and our sketches and stuff deal with history, the flows of history, culture, and how the culture evolves over time. But it's not done as like a history lesson. It's done as fun engagement, right? It's how the Jelly tradition is. It's like, would tell the story of George Washington and what went on his plantation. And you get into the absurd grotesqueries of that, just how funny that is. And it's tragicomic because it's horrible what he was doing, but it's hilarious when we think about it and look at it, right? Because that's what we do. That's the essence of our humor.
My guest again is Arsalan Ibrihim. Arsalan, we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
But I see that you brought an instrument with you.
Yes.
I at least want to introduce it. Maybe if you can play a little something from it. Again, the play is Minstrels Play right here at the Columbia City Theater. Friday and Saturday, 7 o'clock, doors open. You can get tickets. Is there a website or just go to Eventbrite?
Yeah, just go to Eventbrite and get the tickets there.
Now, what is this instrument that you're playing?
This is called kora.
The kora.
And as is the case with the tradition, this will be front and center throughout the show.
Okay. Do you want to mention some of the names of some of the actors?
Yes. So we'll have Logic Aman as a part of the cast from the Griot Party. We have John Jones, JT, from a lot of his work down in the Tacoma Evergreen State College campus in Tacoma. We have Jasmine Rice, a very well-renowned spoken word artist, local spoken word artist. We have Melanie Bell, who is an accomplished and experienced actress who's deep in Seattle arts community. We have Joanne Kim, who's also an accomplished actress in the Seattle arts community. And we have myself and our film. This will be a live filmed experience. So people will not only see us performing live, but there's going to be film crew filming us. So you might get caught up in some of the filming because it's a live studio audience. Definitely your laughter will be heard, right? And Che Hoon is handling the filming of that. So
all right. Again, the play Minstrels play right here at the Columbia City Theater, 4916 Rainier Avenue South, Friday and Saturday. Come on Friday. And if there's any tickets left, you can come back on Saturday. Yeah. But if you can't make it Friday, come down on Saturday as well. The play Minstrels play, go to Eventbrite.
Yes.
And then Minstrels play. Get your tickets in advance. If there are any tickets left over, you will be able to get tickets at the door.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
Again, this play written by my guest here, Arsalan Ibrihim. I do want to give you, and you're playing that chorus so effortlessly and not looking and talking, and it sounds great. And I hope y'all are enjoying this. You'll see. But I want to give you the opportunity for final words. I don't want you to stop playing, but I want to give you the opportunity for final words here. Anything that you'd like to say. And thank you for sharing information historically as well for us. That was great to have as part of this program. But anything that you want to say to our audience right now?
Since my coming here to Seattle, I've been deeply impressed with the deep and rich pool of talent that exists here. And it's been my goal to really bring that talent out and get people seeing that and experiencing that and really build up richer experiences. And what I'm really trying to do with this show is turn it into a more seasonal experience. This becomes a thing that Seattleites just come to every so often throughout the year, right? So we only do that by starting our first show and building community around it. So come and let's make a habit of it.
All right. Minstrels play this Saturday and Sunday. 2 shows, this Friday and Saturday. 1 show Friday, 1 show Saturday. Writer and also historian,
Yes.
Arsalan Ibrihim, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing in the choral with us. We look forward to Friday. Come on down Friday. Come on down Saturday. And enjoy this, and you got to do more of this.
Yes, I do. I will. I do. You got to
do more.
We'll talk. There's things I want to talk to you about.
All right. Thank you again for listening to another edition of Street Beat. Don't forget that tomorrow we'll be here with Don't Boo, Vote from 4 to 7 in partnership with the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, informing voters and providing voters with the opportunity to register, along with panel discussions taking place as well. Don't Boo, Vote. That's 4 to 7 tomorrow, right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. And then from 7 to about 9 or 9:30, we'll be broadcasting the O'Day Ballard football game, high school Metro League football, Thursday night under the lights. And then, Friday, Minstrels play right here at the Columbia City Theater. That's it. That's all the time that I have. That is going to do it for the kid. It's me, Tony B, your host of Street Beat, saying, remember, whether you believe you can, whether you believe you cannot, you're probably right. I'm out. Peace.